am so excited about this show. To decide to produce a show this well known is its own challenge. We take a lot of time to explore shows in my musical theater class, thinking about what kind of story do we want to tell and what sort of story are we best suited to tell in this given year. What kind of story is going to challenge the students we have and push them further as theater artists.
And we've really put a lot of effort into promoting a culture that really encourages collaboration.
This year, we're actually working together with student and adult leaders to coordinate.
And so a lot of brainstorming has happened. We're kind of developing ourselves as we develop the process.
We've been working to really examine all of our practices behind the scenes to support the development of our student leaders, to make sure that they are able to come up with designs, they are able to try new things, learn new skills.
So that, for example, lighting has a lot of interaction and say in the design process for set or costumes, and can weigh in on, oh, that's not really going to pick up well, or can we try this fabric under the different lights, and really trying to teach the kids to communicate early and often, and we get the best possible look out of everything.
So it's always interesting working with Miss Lorette. A lot of my job is making sure she gets through like all of the meetings and the paperwork so that we can have all of the things we need for our show. As the production manager, I am in charge of working with all of the other managers of all of the spheres of our company. Stage, which has to do with our cast, our vocal coaches, our dance captains, our stage manager.
A lot of the process for me starts with understanding the core elements for the story of Fiddler. I want to make it very story-centric, helping the actors understand what the themes are. We get the blocking out in general just to get it physically on its feet. Then we really start to dive into the intentions behind the scenes, so we'll talk about emotional intentions.
A lot of it is very collaborative because there are certain nuances true to Fiddler. Jerome Robbins, it's so specific of what he needs and what he wants. I'm learning myself to adjust it for students to get it in their bodies, and also giving them the opportunity to bring their own character to it as well.
As a vocal coach, my responsibility is to create the tracks for all of the songs and just help everyone out with coaching and whatnot, so just monitoring the vocal music aspects of the show.
Our music sphere, which has to do, again, with vocal coaches, but also our pit and our conductor.
Most of the time that Nick is conducting the group, where I am coming around, checking in with individuals, or focusing on balance.
The main thing I learned from last year is I was not prepared enough. And I took that this year, and I started listening. I normally set this up, follow along in my score, and I think that's given me perspective of how different people have gone through the music and their different interpretations of it. It has kind of helped me to shape the music how I want it to be. There are a lot of cadenzas and solos in the musical that are in klezmer style. Slides, scoops, curves, pitch bends, that my clarinet player has not ever had to do before. The first time I ever heard an accordion live was at my accordion player's audition. Sometimes there are accordion glisses at the end of a song. I'll have like two chords, one chord, and then the accordion glisses up to another chord. Every time I hear it, I have to smile.
We have our scenic sphere, which is sets and props and hair and makeup, costumes, all of that.
Storytelling. It's not just a question of what the actors are portraying on the stage. Every little thing that is shown on the stage makes an impact on the story.
Trying to figure out how we were gonna make the set come alive and feel lived in. With costumes and hair and makeup, they are really intertwined. Bringing individualism to each of the characters in the show was very important for us. For example, the three daughters are in primary colors.
And then we have our tech sphere, lights and sound.
Sound, it's really important that we can hear everybody on stage.
And then we'll polish the sounds. We make sure that everyone's got the mics that they need and all of that.
The main thing with lighting is it's really helpful for setting the mood and tone for scenes. Like if there's a super romantic scene, we normally pick like warmer kind of colors you would associate with love, like pinks and reds.
We do have sort of a color palette for the overall show. Night settings, We're going to play with the scrim and play with sunrises and sunsets, as you would imagine.
Having that really like enhances the set pieces, especially this show, because our flats are specifically designed to catch the light.
For light and sound, we started by just looking at the script. We, as a company, we had a read through. Performers read through it on stage. We had the pit there, and then we read through the script again. So we talked about our options for the settings, and sort of the themes came out. Our thematic elements from a lighting perspective came out. Our main characters came out from a sound perspective. Then from there, sound folks made their mic plot and figuring out who's going to wear a mic when. We don't have enough mics, and so we need an area mic, but we want it to be wireless. So right now they're experimenting with that probably as we speak. Work with props and figure out how to hide it in something like a loaf of bread.
And then lastly, we have our hospitality sphere. The lovely people making this video, along with the people that provide our food. They promote our shows through social media. They do all of the yard signs and the posters and things like that to help make sure we reach an audience and also that everyone is fed and happy. There's also the production sphere, which is where I am, along with our producer, and just kind of making sure it all comes together.
Even with a show that has been performed countless times, it will never be the same. Every production and every performance is unique, and I'm just really excited for us to share ours.